This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the EVP Podcast. I am Beaker, and I'm joined with
Ghosty McGhostface.
And DVO
Ghosty McGhostface.
has
That's
returned.
Awesome. So thanks for listening to our last episode where we talked about ghost stuff.
All things ghost.
Yep.
Paranormal and this such.
What the hell did we talk about?
Family tree.
Family tree, yes.
The thing we were just talking about.
We just had a lengthy conversation about the Dead Files being a family tree and Ghost Adventures. So yes, thanks for listening to our family tree episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If not, re-listen to it because it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
You guys missed it and you're listening to this? What the hell?
Keep listening.
Yeah, go back, listen, and come back and listen to this one.
Re-listen to the shows because they're great because we did them.
They're all good.
So this week, we're going to be talking about another haunted location here in Utah. This one happens to be up in Logan.
Yes.
It's gone by many names over the years, but most recently has been known as St. Anne's Retreat.
The Nunnery.
The
Some
Nunnery.
people call it the Nunnery.
It was also the Hatch family resort as well, I believe.
It sounded like a lot of socialites and directors and actors were kind of hanging out at this resort up in Logan Canyon.
Actors and stuff would go up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so originally it was built in I believe the Hatches, the guy bought it in 1910. Mm-hmm. And it was somewhere between 1915, between 1915 and 1918. He built basically a summer vacation spot for his family. And it was run by, it was actually Hezekiah Eastman Hatch was the original owner of this property. And
The Hatch family. They're like a big name here in Utah, right?
there's a big... yeah.
You saying that just made so many things just correlate right now. Okay, yes.
Chocolates.
Not what I was thinking.
Senators.
Yes.
Senators and chocolates.
So it's very possible, it could be their ancestors. Or
Yeah, because this was a really well-off family.
They were very well off. Yeah,
Yes.
they were self-made millionaires actually.
Yes.
So
From chocolate making?
From this resort.
no, from a bunch of other things. So he built
Being
the cabin
senators?
for him and his wife and their kids to enjoy. After he died in 1919, his son Lorenzo Boyd Hatch actually took over the camp, and along with his brother-in-law Floyd B. Oldman, they actually expanded the camp, made it bigger. And both these guys were self-made millionaires, and they lived in New York. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys were rich. They were well off. They kept expanding it, and eventually it became a summer camp and a summer retreat, not only for the Hatches and the Oldhams, but like Derek was or DVO was saying, they would actually bring in a lot of Hollywood elites. They would come in and they would party and hang out and whatnot.
I guess before Sundance became a big thing in Park City.
Yeah, Logan
Canyon was the spot.
I mean, it was...
I'll tell you what though, looking at the pictures, so this place is really run down now. But looking at the pictures, you could tell when this thing was pristine and when it was first built, it looked pretty nice. Like some of the cabins are, yes, small.
They're tiny.
But
for
but even on the
1910, that's
but-
some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, even on the inside, they have fireplaces, like big doors. I was like, man, these actually, I'd hang out there.
So
I'd go there.
all together, there was 21 buildings and structures.
I believe it.
on this resort.
Yeah.
Some of them are really tiny, though. Like, you could
Yes.
fit two of them inside this room.
Right.
There was 2 main lodges. There were 6 smaller cabins. There was a playhouse, there was a pool house, and a generator house. Fireplaces, fire pits. There was a fountain. There was a bridge, swimming pool. It also had a small theater with adjoining ticket booth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was a horse stable at one point, but that was demolished. And then I guess it was also called Pine Glen Cove when it was the resort. Like it turned into.
Okay.
So after I believe I think they sold it in 1950 to the
Catholic Church.
Catholic. It was the Roman Catholic diocese here in Salt Lake.
And I've heard different things where they've donated it, and I've heard the church bought it. So I'm not sure. I've heard conflicting stories.
This says donated, so we'll
Yeah.
go with donated. It was also actually offered to the LDS Church and the Utah State University, and both of them declined it.
Weird.
Then it went to the Catholic Church.
If you guys aren't familiar, Utah State University is in Logan. So We'll talk about that a little bit because a lot of students go up there.
I wonder if it was having to pay tax. Weird. I wonder why.
But they didn't take it
Yeah.
as a donation, right? Yeah, because they're tax exempt, so it'd be
Yeah, so they wouldn't have to pay property tax.
exactly.
Strange.
So yeah, it's after it was given to the Catholic Church. That's when it was renamed to St. Anne's, ANN. A lot of people, if you Google it, it's going to say ANNE.
Oh.
And there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh.
It's I read it on a website, and I don't remember why. But there was a reason why
So
people
then
had the
who
extra
has it up for sale then? Who's selling it if it was donated to the Catholic
The
Church?
Catholic Church did sell it. I don't remember when. But
So
they
in
did
the
sell it.
80s,
Okay.
they actually turned it into, it became a youth summer camp
yes.
for the Boys Club of Weber and Salt Lake Central City
okay.
Community Center. In 93, it was sold to private ownership. And then in 2006, it was put on the National Register of Historic Places.
So what I've heard is why it keeps getting sold and nothing really happens with it is because of trespassers. Like I just mentioned, the Utah State, not to be confused with the University of Utah, which is in Salt Lake, but Utah State University. A lot of students, a lot of teenagers, they hear the rumors, the legends, the stories, and they go investigate. And basically, they're trespassing and messing up people's property. Like, so someone will own it, but then they come back to check on it, and windows are broken, doors are broken because people are breaking in to investigate. And
Well, and up to fairly recently, Logan it's basically just a college town. It's not a very
Yeah.
big city. I would say probably like where the Colorado Buffs play, like that city up there in that
Small town.
Fort something. I can't remember.
Collins?
Fort Collins,
Oh, okay.
Colorado. It's like a college town. It's not a very big town, especially like
Right.
when a lot of this stuff was going on. It's bigger now. It's grown. When I lived there in like 2005, Logan still wasn't that big of a
You
town.
did?
Yes, for a month.
Oh.
I went up there for work, and I ended up coming back
okay.
to Salt Lake because it didn't work out. But
After
yeah,
a
actually, after a month.
Because I think this,
don't blame you.
I think this Nunnery, I think is about 10 miles from the nearest civilization, something like that.
Like
up
10
the
miles
canyon.
up the canyon, yeah.
Yeah, so on the Ghost Adventures episode, right at the very beginning, like their GPSs weren't even working in the canyon. They had a hard time finding it. They had to go back to Logan to get directions on how
Yeah.
to get to the
And of course, they thought that the non-reception was ghost-related.
normal.
That they
No, it's
they
just
didn't
Logan
want-
Canyon. It's out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Like most canyons through the state here.
Super
no
scary,
reception.
guys. No service here.
It's like they don't want us coming here.
yeah, they did say that. It's like a sign. They're trying to keep us from going. Like, no,
Or
it's
there's just no
technology sucks.
satellites out there. Through trees and mountains and rocks, there's usually not a lot of reception.
So I believe it went under new ownership in like 2015.
Okay.
And then I think, it's the reason why we're talking about this today is because like
It's for sale.
everyone and their dog let the three of us know that this place is for sale.
Yeah, got a few messages. Hey, did you know?
I got tagged on a lot of posts. I got a private message to me. I got people at work like, hey, I had my brother, just a whole lot of people. I know you guys had the same thing too. Just
Yep.
everyone is just like, hey, it's for sale. And if I had $750,000 laying around, I'd buy a house. No, if I had that kind of money, I would love to like purchase haunted properties, and rebuild them and possibly like,
Well, that's what I don't get why they're having problems with trespassers. Because if they started working on the place, they would be fenced off, or I mean, they could hire
Right.
a security guard while they're just to watch the equipment.
So I
while
guess
they're-
a lot of the owners have had security guards, but they're probably not working 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's more like a patrol. I bet.
Yeah, probably just show up here once every so
Yeah.
often. But I just mean like if you're gonna redo the place and if when it's open, nobody's gonna be trespassing because
If you have like a construction, you mean if you have like a construction crew on site
Yeah.
working?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I mean. Because
you
if
have
you're
a good
gonna
point.
buy the place, you're gonna like, why is it just gonna sit there vacant? Still?
Yeah.
What's the point of buying it then? So obviously you'd want to fix it up. I'd want to fix it up because when you think about what home prices are now, the price of this whole nunnery right now is like the price of a decent sized house.
Sure,
Like
and
a
you're
two-
talking.
of a
Baker, do you have like the
two-story-
size of the whole, like acreage or anything like that of it?
yes, it's so no.
Yeah, I don't remember reading anything about it. But to think of 21 21 buildings on this land. It's
Yeah, it's 21 buildings.
It's got to be maybe 4 acres at least. At the least, I'm guessing
And,
it's
and,
gotta
and
be a
also,
lot more.
looking at the pictures of the property, it's not on flat land, right? It's like along the mountainside.
It's in the
so-
mountains, yeah.
There's
And
like
Yeah.
a creek that runs through it.
so the land itself is actually owned by the Forest Service, and they rent the camp out to the private owner. I think what he was, like you said, was trying to build it back up and restore it. And I've seen this on a lot of like their Facebook page and like other groups here in Utah, like posting and sharing it. There's still the vandalism going on. They've been
Yeah.
putting up security cameras, and people are still going in and they're like vandalizing the security cameras too.
That's why I was looking at their Facebook page, and they're putting like, screenshots of trespass. Like, hey, do you recognize this person?
Well,
'Cause-
Logan is a college town.
right.
It's a huge college town, so there's going to be a lot of kids wanting to do some dumb shit.
Yeah. One of the recent posts I saw from their Facebook page was somebody carrying a Ouija board in trespassing, and
Yeah, I saw that one too.
there's a good shot of her, so she's probably busted.
I didn't know there's a page of people getting busted trespassing.
Oh no,
there.
on their
It's
on their
their, it's their
Facebook.
Facebook page.
So
Yeah.
St. Anne's, it's actually I think it's called St. Anne's Retreat, the Nunnery Facebook page. Yeah,
They're just busting kids left and right.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to think a property like that's gonna have some cameras, dummy.
Yeah, you'd think, but they don't think about stuff like that. They're just like,
Yeah, they're drunk, they're
oh,
vandalizing.
it's going to be fun to sneak in here.
Yeah, they're spray painting it and stuff like
I
that.
bet you there's people doing fornication out there getting caught.
No.
Yes, they're doing fornicating.
Now, obviously, it probably got even bigger since Ghost Adventures went out there.
course.
Oh gosh, when year was that? Did anyone know? Not too long ago.
17,
2017.
I'm guessing.
I was gonna guess 2016, 2017. So that might be right around.
Yeah, it'd have to be in the last couple of years because I know the medium that they brought out, Karen Baldwin, she is no longer with us. I believe she passed away last year or the year before. So it had to have been like 17, 18, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it was a really good episode. I gotta say, it was a really good episode. We could talk about that too. But Bigger, where do you want to go, or what topics do you have we should hit on this?
Well, so
There's a lot of stories on this, which is
I
interesting.
think we should just kind of go in order of things. So we talked
Okay.
about the celebrities and how it was used for that. So after that, after they sold it to the Catholic Church and it became a nunnery, there are some stories around that that I think would cause possible paranormal activity. So some of the stories is like it became a retreat for the nuns. That's where they would send them during the summertime and stuff like that. And but the nuns would get bored while they were up there.
What did they do
Nothing.
when they were bored? They would what?
But well, it was before they got there and they were bored. Apparently, they would hop on the good foot and do the bad thing.
Fornication.
They would do the fornication. I think with like other priests or I don't know who. They were
Other
the
members of the church.
Other members of the church, basically, or businessmen. I don't know. They was doing the fornications,
Yeah.
and basically
What
they're
would Jesus say about that?
well, you would say hide them away. Apparently, because that's what they did.
Yeah, I've heard like different things. I heard this was basically a retreat for the priests and nuns to like just take a break from whether they're teaching schools or their ministry, whatever. It's a place for them to go relax and go on a retreat. Because like I said, it's beautiful. Also heard it was a place where they would hide their embarrassments. Where either like a father could notice his daughter get knocked up and say, you know what, you're joining the nunnery and you're flying out to Utah and you're going to stay at this nunnery. You're going to become a nun now for doing what you did. And also,
There's no actual like evidence of this actually
Exactly.
happening. So,
So
this
many
is all
different
just
stories.
This is all just hearsay and rumors. But it's
so I wonder what really is the result. But one of the things I read was it sounds like multiple nuns
Sinned.
having multiple babies there. But I really only kind of find a couple stories really. So I don't know, so many urban legends develop from stories like this.
yeah. I mean, usually an urban legend comes from some sort of truth, though.
Yes, yeah.
That or it's just someone's sick idea of a joke. I don't know. But some of the stories with the nuns, the one story is that I guess a nun had a baby, and I guess she couldn't deal with the grief of like having a baby out of wedlock and all that because she's a nun. So the rumor is that she actually took the baby out into the swimming pool and drowned her own baby, and then she was so grief stricken about that she actually slit her own throat
Yes.
and killed herself. And they claim that people see the nun like standing over the swimming pool, kind of looking in the swimming pool, like, "What have I done?"
Yeah, and on Ghost Adventures, they had an investigator said he saw a full apparition of that.
It was one of the kids from the 1997 incident that we'll talk about. in
Oh,
just a
oh,
minute.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an investigator. So
No, it was
okay.
one of the, it was one of the
Okay.
kids.
So yeah, he said that if I remember correctly, he saw the apparition of a nun looking into the pool, saying "my baby." Right? Is that
Yeah,
what
something like
happened?
that, like my baby. But there was another story that possibly happened with one of the nuns. If you want to share that one.
Yeah, and this one I just read too. This one surprised me. So apparently, and again, I don't know if they got pregnant while they're at this retreat or if they got pregnant and then they were sent to this retreat. Who knows, really? But she had the baby, and she had heard the rumor. So apparently, she had heard rumors that the babies that are born there are drowned in the pool or killed. So she wanted to protect her baby. She ran to the woods. Soon after she heard she's being followed, she tried to hide the baby under a bush, and then loudly run away in a different directions, which worked. They were following her. She backtracked to go grab her baby. Baby's gone. She just finds some torn blanket pieces. Goes back to the nunnery and finds her baby floating in the pool. And then she, grief-stricken again, and she takes some poisonous berries. She eats poisonous berries.
This sounds bullshit. Everything
Yeah.
about it sounds like bullshit.
Who knows? Who knows? So, again, these are just stories. That
So,
same kind of story you heard?
People,
Yeah.
well, I just mean the whole urban legend of, okay, this nun is pregnant, let's send her to the nunnery. And as soon as this baby's born, we're going to drown this little baby in the pool.
Well, so some of the other things that they said they were doing with the babies is they would adopt them out.
Yeah. They also
Yeah,
put them
I
in
could-
orphanages.
Against the mother's will. I could see that being a
Yeah.
thing. But going out and drowning babies,
Right.
I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Again, that's one of the stories in there. But
I mean,
I think the first one is more feasible.
I think
with the nun
if they,
being so distraught that she sinned.
I wonder
She
if
drowned her.
yeah, that one okay, but like this nun running away with this whole thought of they drown babies. I mean,
or take her baby and
Well,
put it in an
I think
orphanage.
well,
Yeah.
from what I was reading, it's like she didn't want to give up her baby, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And as she was running away, like the head nun was yelling behind her, like, "If I find you, I'm going to kill you both."
Right.
That's what I read. So
Yeah, that's what I read too.
I mean, the stories get kind of lost in translation, but yeah, from what I read though, it's rumored that the babies would be adopted out.
okay, that's more. Yeah, that
And
makes
they
more
would say
sense.
local in Utah, and go to these different orphanages.
I could see that being a thing where against the mother's will, because they're nun, they can't have a baby, whatever, and they just force them to put it up for adoption.
I mean,
Yeah.
what great way to do this is send them, 10 miles from the nearest city, 8.5
Right.
miles up this canyon that no one really went to.
So I
Exactly.
could see mom not. Yeah, the lights wigging out in here because I don't know why I need a new fixture, but
So for those of you watching, if I post this and you see the lights flickering, it's not paranormal. It's bad wiring.
yeah, something going on in this damn room. Got a new fixture for that. But anyways, I could see her running away to avoid having them take away her baby. Could totally see that. But leaving the baby in
And
the
then
woods
I
and
might have told the
taking
story
off-
wrong.
But that's pretty much what I read too. Is that she hid the baby and ran away noisily in a different direction to get the search party to follow her, and then pretty much exactly what you said is what I read.
You're on your own, baby. I'm gonna have them catch me down the street.
Well, she knew she was going to backtrack and come back, but
if she didn't get caught,
if she didn't get caught,
and then of course you can't GPS track the baby. So
and there's wild animals out there,
right,
So.
what the
Yeah,
hell?
it's
Not a fan of this story at all.
It's a story.
Yeah.
It's I think
It's an urban
I
legend.
like the story myself. I think it's an interesting.
I think there's a lot of holes in this. There's a lot of holes in this plot.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one actually.
Yeah, not a fan of that story, but nice try, urban legends.
makes it fun. And that's here's the thing, right? These are the stories that could attract paranormal activity and which attracts people that want to investigate, like us. I definitely want to investigate this nunnery 100%. And with Ghost Adventures going there, I think it was Jay, one of their producers, that investigates with him as well, and he had like a breakdown in one of the rooms. He quote unquote got locked in a room, like unsuspectingly. He went in like, "Hey, go check this out," and when his back was turned, they locked him in this room. You guys remember that in the episode?
Oh shit, no.
Yeah, they like close the door and like screw it shut from the outside.
He's like,
They,
"Hey, let
put,
me
like,
out of here!" They're like,
plywood.
just stand there and investigate. I didn't sign up for this, but anyway, like, he had like a breakdown. He had like a
gave
breakdown.
himself a panic attack because of that.
He could, yeah, could. I mean, could, yeah, definitely could have triggered a panic attack, thinking you're
Yeah.
locked in a
Hit
room.
that light switch. Let's cut the lights in here.
Kill the lights.
Yeah, before I have a seizure.
We kill stuff.
All right, what else? And on the episode, so yeah, they had the so she was called what's her name? Karen Baldwin.
Yes.
She calls herself a psychic medium. So what's I kind of look at those as two different things. What's a psychic medium? Either of you know?
So I've had this conversation a lot. Do you want to
Okay.
say your thoughts?
My thoughts is just, I don't know. I think it's just whoever's saying what they are. They're just, I don't know. They're just giving it a
Self-declared.
title. I'm just giving it a title.
Okay,
It's not.
okay. It's not like
I,
there's not.
I think there's just different kinds of mediums that have different abilities, and it's hard to like give each one you're this kind of a medium, you're this kind of a medium. They just say medium, or they just say psychic medium. But for the most part, it's just a title. That.
okay.
What do you say? So what say you, sir?
Do we have more than an hour?
Well, yeah, that's what I
just
mean.
kidding.
There's just so many different abilities of what things people can do.
It's so
Yeah.
generic. So, in my opinion, a psychic is someone that can see the future.
Oh,
That's
see
what I
the
think,
future.
too.
They
Okay.
know
yeah.
they know things. They can see things. They can see the psychic is knowing things, right? And you know the future. A medium is simply, if you put it in like scientific terms or mathematical terms, a medium is simply the middle.
In between.
In between.
In between.
So a
yes.
medium is someone that's in between the spirit plane and the living plane.
Or they can see something in between there.
Right. See or hear or whatever.
So
Right.
a psychic medium is seeing spirits from the future.
That's why I'm confused by this terminology. That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
like the term psychic medium.
Well, the thing is about everyone about seeing the future in general. I don't really see. I don't know. I could see premonitions being a thing, but seeing the future of like because people's past can change on a dime. It's
Well,
hard.
I could give you a reading of your future, and you could make a decision about 30 seconds after I
That's
give you
gonna
the
change
reading, and it will
everything.
change everything.
Right.
And that's like when I do readings, I don't do. Here's what you need. Here's what's going to happen in the future. My readings are more. This is what you need to work on to achieve the things that you want, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what's going to help you be happy if you choose to do them. I'm not going to be like, yeah, DVO, you're going to be a millionaire in next year. Like that's just I don't like. And Brandy's the same way as with this. When you do those types of readings, you could potentially be giving someone false hope. You get the people that get so addicted to readings that they make all their life decisions based on what their psychics are telling them. Where, like I said, with a medium, it's just someone that's just connecting the two planes. That's all. They're just the in between, whether it's hearing or seeing. Technically, I guess if you want to classify me, I would be more of like an intuitive medium. But I don't like using the term medium. I don't.
Well, like the whole psychic word is all about mind, and I think the what people are just using the word psychic as is just another word as medium. So just like when you hear a Taco Bell commercial and they say with real queso cheese, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Queso and cheese is
Queso
the
and
same
cheese
thing.
is the same thing.
So how are you gonna have real queso cheese? So when you say
a
with
great
psychic
comparison.
medium, it's like it's like queso cheese. Got it.
That's a very good point. Like that makes sense.
But queso is cheese.
It's
What?
the new queso cheese we've got at Taco Bell.
Psychic medium, same thing.
So and it's funny because like I still remember a time we were going to family tree and Brandy couldn't find her way there, and someone's like, "Well, why can't she find her way here? Isn't she the psychic?" And I'm like, "No, she talks to ghosts. That's different."
Yeah.
I just the terminology just kind of gets thrown around.
Yeah.
There's mediums and there's different types of mediums. You've got your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your intuitive.
Exactly.
There's
And
all
they're
sorts
all
of different gifts.
different
And
kinds.
I think it's just a very generic term that people throw out there because there are so many different things.
There's a million kinds of cheeses.
Yes.
True.
There's feta, Gouda,
And they're all delicious.
mozzarella, brie.
And just like mediums, they're all delicious.
But all mediums are not medium.
I'm more of an extra large. So the extra E in the St. Anne's
Okay.
came from the Fife Folklore Archives, which is kind of keeps some of the stories and urban legends on the nunnery, and they've been spelling it with an E, even though the Catholic Church official spelling is without the E.
A-N-N. Okay.
Yeah, so nothing spectacular there, but so yeah, do we want to talk about the crazy event that
Well, how about with go back to her Karen real quick. So, as a psychic medium, so I can't remember all the things that she picked up. I just remember she picked up on the number 3.
yeah, when they were first walking up, she was like 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. She said it twice, and they stopped and they're like, "Well, what did you say? Did you say 3, 3, 3?" And usually in the paranormal, signs like that where things come in 3, it's usually like something inhuman, or they'll say like satanic or demonic. Things come in 3, and it's to mock like the Holy Trinity.
Yes.
I know that one of the kids that they interviewed said that they saw 3 people walking down, and then someone they were talking to, they got 3 scratches on their neck, and
Right.
And I think part of that is just played up for entertainment value.
But I
Yeah.
want to talk about that number 3 though. So if you think about it, if you knock on a door, how many times do you knock on a door?
7.
You're like, your OCD makes you do it 7. You're like 1, 2, wait, 1, 2, 3, wait, 2 more.
No,
1,
I
2, 3,
gotta-
penny.
I
1,
gotta
2, 3,
walk up.
penny. 1, 2, 3, penny.
I gotta do 7 shuffles when I get to the door, and then I get to do 7 knocks.
But see, like when I knock on a
What's
door,
the police knock? 3 loud knocks.
yeah, like I always just do 3 when I go to someone's house and I knock the door. It's just 3. It's just what I do, and I just think not every knock of 3 is mocking the Holy Trinity.
Well, every time I go to a door, I think I'm gonna tell a joke, so I just knock twice.
Knock, knock.
You're killing me, Eric.
I got dad jokes that I'm making up on a whim. I'm making them up as I
It's
go.
good though. It's good.
All right.
So for me, when I hear 3 knocks, I don't think of it as a demonic thing. I just think of it's probably the most natural number of knocks anyone would ever do.
It makes
Well,
sense.
I
Like,
also
now that
don't think. Yeah, I don't think anything is like the mocking of the Trinity. I don't think that's true at all.
that's when you get into the religious aspect of
Well,
it.
yeah,
Like,
that's going
what-
off of saying that Christianity is the end all to all religions, and
That's not.
yeah, it's just saying that Christianity means that everything is based off of that, which is not. Spirituality and everything is not based off of Christianity.
Right. And look at this. So I'm going off the knocks, 3 knocks. And then you think 3 scratches. You hear that a lot too. So if you look at your hand, your middle 3 fingers are the longest.
Well, those are my 3 good fingers.
Exactly. So if you're going to do something, most likely those 3 are the ones that's really going to like make an impact. Because you're
Well, think about it. Like, I mean, for those that are being able to see this on YouTube, like just the way I have my hand on Dell's shoulder here, it's 3, just those 3 middle fingers. Like I've got the other 2 kind of like in this weird claw thing. Like,
Yeah, they're not going to get nothing. They're for grabbing wide.
Yeah, exactly. Your pinky's not strong. Like it's just going to be if you were to scratch anything, this is the most natural thing is going to show 3 marks. So that's what I'm saying. Is I don't always think of these numbers of 3 as something quote unquote demonic.
Yeah, if my hand was a Swiss Army knife, I would keep my pinky down when I scratch.
Right.
well, you're not really going to be scratching with your thumb either. Like,
Nope.
Exactly.
It's
That's
for
what I'm
pulling.
saying.
It's for grabbing and pulling in.
Yeah.
well, it's like if you ever watched the movies, like when they scratch I've seen a show recently.
It's
where
always
they,
3.
they scratch someone's face. It's just the three because that's just what's natural. Yeah, I've never even
Exactly.
thought about that before. That makes a lot of sense.
I think about these things. I drive a lot,
I
so
know.
I think about
Well,
these
I think
things.
Every time I see the scratching thing, sometimes you see 4, or sometimes you just see a whole shit ton of them. No one ever says anything about those. It's only the ones that have 3 that they go, oh, it's the mark of the beast. It's the marking of the
Yeah.
Trinity right
Yeah.
there.
And I just think
Well,
that's it.
When there's like
What
8
I-
scratches, they go, oh,
What I
God,
find
ew.
interesting is a lot of the times it's going to be like on the side of someone's neck. Now, I don't know about you, but when I have an itch, like how I'm scratching my neck,
Yeah.
those 3 fingers.
Yeah. Right now, everyone, scratch your neck that's listening. What did you scratch your neck with? Oh,
Three.
3 of my fingers. Go knock on a desk, a table, a door. Knock right now, naturally. How many knocks was that? I bet it was 3. 9 out of 10 times.
Never even thought about that before. That makes total sense, though. Like,
Unsolved mysteries? I think not. I just solved it.
we saw, okay, we solved the threes.
All right. Now we solve the psychic medium thing. Just kidding. Anyway, I want to touch on that because I thought about this, and when I rewatched that episode of Ghost Adventures, and when she was mentioning it, I was like, okay, I have a theory about this, and I want to share
That makes
here.
absolute sense. Like, I never even thought about that before, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah. All right, we can continue now.
So we want to talk about what happened in 1997?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the good old days
All
of
right.
1997.
So, Beaker, let me ask you a question. We all watched the recent episode of Ghost Adventures at St. Anne's because, again, I think that really blew up this place.
Yeah.
Popularity wise.
And that happens a lot with their show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, same thing happened in Family Tree. They were on Dead Files and Ghost
Right.
Adventures, and boom, they blew up.
So watching this episode, like I just did, how many kids? Okay, real quick, we just talk about in this, kids were held hostage at the resort. So we'll go into more details, but let me ask you this: how many kids did you think was involved?
So
from
going
watching that?
strictly off of Ghost Adventures,
Yes.
going off of kind of how they were telling the story and what they showed in the reenactment, there was like 6 or 7.
And the people that were in the episode because they had
Yeah.
some of the
they had
quote
some
unquote
of the,
survivors,
some of the victims.
victims, everything.
So they interviewed like 3 of them,
Uh-huh.
right? So, but from the reenactment, it looked like there was probably 6 or 7.
I thought 3 to 6. Dale, how many did you say you thought again?
like 5 or 6.
Like 5. So go ahead. How many were there?
So the first time, so this happened to 2 different groups of kids.
Oh,
actually.
I don't know this. I just know of this.
So-
Oh,
So the
okay.
first, so there was actually so the ones that were interviewed in the Ghost Adventures was the second group of kids.
Oh, okay.
The first group of kids, there was 8.
Okay.
And the 3 security guards, and that's Ghost Adventures like, oh, three security guards. That was another of the 3s. So the 3 security guards, I guess they detained this first group of 8 kids. They called local authorities and held them until the authorities came and showed up. And it was shortly after that these 8 kids left, it was 30 kids.
30 kids are bound in the empty swimming pool.
They were being shot at. Apparently,
Yeah.
the people that they interviewed on the show said they were being shot at. The one kid said he was hogtied with zip ties,
Yep.
and they were bound and tortured. And then I guess the guys were like screaming in their faces, like, "Why are you here?" And they're like, "Because it was Halloween time." College kids. It was October 10th, 1997.
Yep.
College kids, Halloween time, scary, spooky.
Yeah.
building.
Sign me up. I'm going up.
Fornication.
The kind of shit that we've all done. Not fornicating with each other, but
That's later.
Yeah, that wasn't until
Bow,
our 30s.
it was me that grabbed your butt in the cemetery.
I know that.
Even though you were face to face and I was about 10 feet away from you.
I saw that. That sounds good.
I know your tricks, Dewey.
You grabbed my ass.
Sir, from where I'm standing, that's a physical impossibility.
It's a great show. Great movie.
So yeah, there was like 30 kids. They were shooting. The one kid they interviewed said that the guy actually went right next to his friend's face,
Oh, yeah.
put the shotgun like next to his face and pulled the trigger. I mean, that's the kind of shit that would make you go deaf.
Yeah. And these 30 kids didn't go
Give you
together.
PTSD for sure.
Yeah, these 30 kids didn't go together. They came in separate groups, like maybe 4 kids one at a time and 5 kids one at a time, separately. And together, these guys rounded up 30 kids.
And held them all and tortured them, basically, is what they
Yeah.
claim. They tortured them until the authorities arrived. And both times the authorities were called, it was the security guards calling.
Yes, these security guards called the police on trespass, which true, they're illegally trespassing. So, yeah, call the police.
Or were they?
Who the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think they're invited?
No.
Go on.
So there was a lot of backlash when this thing went on because they, I think they were letting the security guards off, and I believe they sued the security guards or something. There was a court battle, and ultimately I think all 3 guys lost their jobs, and they actually revoked the trespassing charges of the kids,
Right.
Because the land was
Yes.
owned by the forest department.
So they're not
So
trespassing.
technically,
Oh, so it's public land
Because
as
it's
a
public
national
land.
forest. Ah.
they were off the hook for trespassing, but they did prosecute, I believe, the 3 security guards.
Yeah, they're in jail, and because they molested some of the girls, that's what some of the claims were, and they assaulted the people. So they hit somebody with a shotgun.
Yeah, they asked the kids like why they were there, and they're like, oh, we're just looking for a scare, we're having fun.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, we'll give you something to be afraid about.
Yes.
And they tortured these kids, and it was like it wasn't just local news. Apparently, this was national news. This was all over the place.
And I don't remember. This was in '97, and I don't remember.
Well, you got to think in '97. We were all in high school. You might not have been. Maybe October. Yeah, no, you were probably there.
Ninth grade.
Yeah, I think '96 and '97 was when I was a sophomore, so I would have been a junior.
Freshman.
I would have been a junior '97 to '98.
Okay.
Nope, that would have been you, because I graduated 2000. So yeah, you would have been a freshman.
Yep.
But so I mean, 15, 16 years old when this happened.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. To
I
the
didn't
news,
watch
guess.
the news then.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
that's why I thought about the same thing. I'm like '97. Why didn't I hear this? And then thinking about it now, I was like, I
don't
was
watch
a
the
sophomore
news.
in high school. I didn't watch the news.
No.
I watched Channel 1.
Yeah,
That was my news source.
I wanted to be on Channel 1 News.
So all the kids could see you.
Yes. Well, if you ever went to homeroom, you probably would have seen me on the morning announcements. I was actually part of the class that did the recordings and did the morning
I watched
announcements.
that. I most likely saw you on
You probably
TV.
saw me on TV at the Hillcrest.
I was like, I want to be that guy when I grow up.
No, there was a guy that was actually.
Here we are podcasting.
Here we are. Here we are. Who'd have thunk? 20 years later. I am that guy on TV.
Yes, because we're making YouTube videos and podcasting. It only took me 20 years to do it, but darn it, I did it.
We're here. Here we are.
Yay, technology. So
That's why we didn't hear about it. That makes sense. We didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, it was happening.
but it's been abandoned since like the 80s, 90s, early 90s.
But that blew me away when I read 30 kids.
Yeah, 30.
Are basically with zip ties tied in this pool, getting yelled at, screamed at. Like these security guards wrapped cord around their around their neck and said, "Oh, this is deadening wire. It's gonna blow your head off, and if you run, we're gonna blow your legs off." And
Yeah.
They had a shit ton of
threatened to
zip
kill
ties. First
yeah,
off.
yeah, that's a good point, right?
Why the hell do they have that many zip ties?
I think they might this is premeditated. Like, we're gonna get these damn kids. Like, we're sick of them coming up here.
Like, how many times did this happen beforehand? We're like, hey guys, it's gonna be a big night tonight. We're gonna need about
It's Halloween.
at least
We need
30 zip ties tonight.
I think it was also like 2 weeks before Halloween too when this happened.
And here's the thing, right? These security guards did all this stuff, and they said, "All right, now we're calling the police because you kids are trespassing, and now we're calling the police." Because these security guards are the ones that called the police.
Well, what's funny is the cops probably show up laughing that these kids are all hogtied. I bet you.
no, they let him go. No, if I read this right, okay, this is what I read.
Oh, so
I could
they
be
weren't
wrong.
hogtied when the cops show up.
They took off these plastic zip ties and put on real handcuffs. So I don't know if they called the police and said, "Hey, we got 30 kids here trespassing," and they I don't know who put reading what I read, it sounded like the security guards put on these handcuffs, but damn, nothing about that. It's a lot of damn handcuffs to have on hand as well. That's probably more weird than having zip ties on hand.
Right?
Because usually when you buy zip ties, you buy them in bundles anyway.
Yeah, you don't just buy 2 zip ties. Like they come in big bags of zip ties.
Yeah. So I don't know if the police, the story I read, again, this is a story. I don't know what's true. Obviously, what happened is true, but I don't know, events specific are true. But anyway, all these kids get arrested, put in handcuffs, taken home to their parents, and the parents are like, "What the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing up there?" And then as the kids tell them what happened to them, the parents are like, "Wait a minute, whoa, what were these guys doing to you guys?" And then things reversed on the security guards.
Yeah, so
And they admitted to it.
Originally, like the security guards, people looked at them as like heroes for stopping the rowdy teenagers
from conjuring
stopping the
demons.
Right.
And the thing is, these guys pled guilty in their court appearance. They're probably like, "Yeah, we got those kids. We got them good.
Got them real good.
We
We
scared
got them
them.
real good. Yeah, we did it."
Gave them a real good scare. They want to get scared.
Idiots. But that's a crazy ass story. That is a crazy story. to be there.
So what kind of spirits do you think are there?
So, okay, real quick, I sent you guys some pictures. One of the local news stations had like 130 pictures of the
Yeah.
place. Kind of flipping through again. Looks like in its heyday, looks like an awesome place to go.
I
The
don't-
scenery looks amazing.
I don't think there's anything necessarily like bad there. Like there was that scene where Zach's like, "Oh no, I'm scared. I don't want to go in this building. I'm scared," acting like there's like some evil shit going on in there.
Just
I
hypes
don't-
himself up.
Yeah,
He does that. I mean,
I don't think
how
there's
many
anything-
episodes have we seen of Ghost Adventures where he invokes the spirits or calls them out? Like he was standing in the swimming pool, opening all the portals to hell and demanding that the spirit shows itself, and then conveniently, right at the same time, the building that they had the thermal imaging camera pointed at, the inside of the cabin went bright red on the thermal imaging camera. And if you don't know how those things work, basically, like the colder something is, it's blue on the camera.
Blue,
Like,
yellow.
it's blue, and then it kind of gets to like a green, and then yellow, orange, and red
okay.
is the hotter temperatures. So,
Yeah.
and he even shows it like on the camera, like the outside of the cabin. I guess this is the cabin that doesn't have, or it's the pool house because they're standing in the swimming pool.
Oh yes.
There's no electricity into the building,
Uh-huh.
and you can see like the outside because it was cold. You can see that like the wood panels on the outside
Are all
are
blue.
blue, and you can see the doorways kind of like a lighter green, not quite yellow, so it's still kind of cold.
Insulation probably.
Yeah, and then you just see like right when he's like calling out these spirits, the whole inside, just the doorway just turns bright red.
Which I thought was interesting.
But I can almost like I almost want to be like, there's a way you can fudge that too.
Yes. Right.
But I haven't figured it out yet, so I'm not going to speculate on that.
Turn
But
a heater on. Like
Right.
Okay, if there's no power, have a generator. Yeah,
you would
there's,
have
there's
heard
things
it,
you
though.
could do.
I mean, you might have heard the generator, but
Yeah.
but for a spirit generating heat,
To light up a room.
light
To
up the
warm
whole. It
warm up a
lit up the
room.
whole doorway.
yeah, but spirits don't like give off heat.
Not
that.
really. Sometimes they do, but they don't. My experience with the thermal imaging camera, my FLIR one that I have for my phone, the only time I've seen something hot like that is when we were at Needful Things and I saw that pot. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah,
Everything in the room was cold and it was like 40, 50 degrees, but there was this one stainless steel pot. And this was later in the night. This is like 10 o'clock at night and it's dark outside. This stainless steel pot was like bright red.
And we're inside, so it's,
Yeah.
we're in a building, contained space. Everything should be the same temperature.
But
inside.
literally everything around this was blue and it was cold, except for this one stainless steel pot was this bright red color. And I remember pointing it out to you guys. And
I remember.
when I pointed it out, the temperature on that pot dropped instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a physical object, like that's something that can retain heat. Like spirits, it depends on the spirit. Like I've felt some spirits that are warm. I felt some spirits are cold, but more often than not, the spirits are cold.
yeah.
So, I mean, saying this, do you think a FLIR, again, and if you guys are looking into it, FLIR, do you think a FLIR camera is a really good paranormal tool?
It can be
Can
if
be.
it's used
Okay.
in a place that I think if it's used more of in a steady area and just left sitting there,
And then randomly a warm
and then
spot
or like
comes
something
up.
cold comes creeping by.
Or something. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, that room, I thought it was very interesting. Because
But-
you could fake that. How? I don't know, but.
When I'm seeing Zach freaking out about how evil the place is, I think, yeah, all hyped up. I don't think there's.
I don't either. When one of the people, many people that told me about this being for sale, they're like, yeah, there's supposedly like a demonic entity up there, and I just looked at them. I'm like, that's just hyping up the
And
story.
here, okay,
I don't think there
back
is.
to my science in my head. I think when people hear the word haunted, haunting, haunted house, whatever, automatically you think it's a negative thing. I think that's
yeah.
where all of a sudden the word
it's
demonic
so
starts
Hollywood.
coming in.
It's so Hollywooded it up. Is that a word?
Yep.
Something.
Yeah,
I
makes
get it.
sense.
I get it.
I mean, you go back and look at stuff like The Exorcist, and then all those like movies that come out, like the Poltergeist, and
Yes.
and all those like ghost type movies. I mean, especially recently when you got like The Conjuring,
Conjuring.
Conjuring 2, The Nun, like the whole series.
Uh-huh.
When you got movies like this, like they paint it the picture as like if it's haunted, it's demonic and it's evil and it's negative.
Right.
And that's not the case. We talked about that on our 2 episodes ago about the residential that we did.
Right.
We were trying to show that like haunted doesn't mean evil.
Uh-huh.
So like you could be in a house, you could have, one of your loved ones that have passed away. Technically, my house is haunted
Because there's spirits in your
because
house.
there is a spirit that resides in my house. Ghosty McGhostface's house at one point was haunted, but it was a little boy. It was a nice spirit.
And I wouldn't say
then-
it's haunted. It's just, and the thing is, though, is there's spirits everywhere. Spirits are everywhere. And just because nobody died in the building, it's still going to have ghosts in it.
Right.
And do I think there's spirits in that area of where this St. Anne's retreat are? Yeah, there's ghosts there for sure, because there's ghosts everywhere. And with them being abandoned buildings, it's just more like if ghosts were walking by and see this place and go in there, nobody's disrupting that much. Yeah, they're probably going
The
to
place to
inhabit
hang
it.
out.
Well, and it could be pareidolia too kicking in when you're wanting something to happen, so you think something happens.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the supposed hellhound that resides on the property?
Well, real quick though, before we get into that, what do you guys think about those pictures then? Like looking at those, nothing really coming out of them.
There
I mean,
was-
there's energy in some of those,
Some of them
Okay.
did have spirit energy in it. So.
but it's not like
Again, it doesn't mean it's demonic or evil.
Right.
It's just,
No,
But, I mean-
I didn't like even in the Ghost Adventures episode where they like as I've met Karen, she's a wonderful lady, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show. I feel like, and I agree with you on this one, Dell. You
Ghosty.
guys, Ghosty. I agree with you on this one, Mr. McGhostface. I think everyone that has abilities, it's limited in some fashion, and I think her main gift is connecting people to deceased loved ones.
Right.
There was a scene in the show where she just randomly said, "Did you have an aunt that's on the other side?" And he's like, "Yeah,
Zach.
yeah, Zach," and. She's like, she's here. She wants you to know that she misses you and she loves you and she appreciates what it is that you're doing. And come to find out that Zach had an aunt that had passed away like 2 weeks before this
Yeah.
investigation. So I think that's kind of her strong suit.
Exactly.
Like you said before you started recording, she's good at connecting people to their lost loved ones. And as far as like seeing spirits, like ghosts, like I think she can feel the energy, but I don't think she's completely processing what it is that she's feeling.
right, because we have a friend has abilities like that, and she comes out and will say, "I can't see ghosts. I can communicate with loved ones that have passed on, but like ghosts, no, I have no ability to see them whatsoever." And I believe that that's what she has as well.
I think so too.
So I think when they brought her in, the ghosts that they're trying to talk to there, I don't think she was able to help them at all in any of that.
I don't think so either.
And then when it came to her going, "So you have an aunt," because that's her strong suit.
I think so. I agree. 100%
yeah, because it was
with that.
almost like a little side thing. Like, hey, real quick. Like maybe she wasn't even know she was being recorded. Hey, real quick, did you have somebody?
Yeah. So I mean, she did like in one of the lodges there. She was like saying there was like some negative male presence that dominates things and wants to torture people, and that there's been satanic rituals that have happened on the property.
She's feeding off residual energy from past, but not ghosts.
I'm sure that's happened too. People doing
It's very
seances,
possible.
Ouija
Yeah.
board playing.
Anytime there's an abandoned property.
That's true. And like fornication.
Well, anytime there's an abandoned property.
Well, like we said earlier, we've seen it on the security
Fornication.
cameras, people taking fornication in with the Ouija boards. They're fornicating with the Ouija boards.
Right. Hellhound.
Hellhound. So apparently there's this white wolf-looking thing with red eyes, and if you see it, something bad's going to happen. And one of the kids that was hogtied claims he actually saw this before that whole thing went down. I've never heard of a hellhound before.
You haven't?
Not like
Have
this,
you,
no.
Dale?
I've heard of them.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Do I think they're shit? Yeah. I think it's, I don't know. He got hit on the head pretty hard, saw some stars. Hellhound.
He saw the red eyes in his face.
Yep.
But the interesting thing is
Big white wolf.
is that I've heard it's been seen by multiple people, and that's where this legend comes from. Is when you see it, something bad's going to happen because multiple people have seen it, and then something bad happened.
Maybe it's a skinwalker.
That's exactly what I thought.
That would make sense.
That makes
Yeah.
way more sense than a big white wolf.
Well, I think there was a big white
Big
wolf.
bad
Big
wolf.
bad white wolf.
Wolf, the big bad wolf.
It's a wolf with a silent L.
I do think it's a big bad white wolf.
Well, didn't they mention in that episode that there used to be a site of like there's like Native Americans? I think Karen said something about that.
Yeah, all through that canyon.
Well, yeah, I would definitely believe so. Before settlement came through, that they would be all up and down that.
And
canyon.
and I was gonna look up what tribe is mostly up in that area, but I totally spaced it. But yes, they did mention it in the.
I'm gonna go with
episode.
Ute.
Up there, I think it's something else. That's more kind of maybe closer.
Yeah.
It could be, but
Well, the Utes were all over the place. I mean, they
Yeah.
were Duchesne with
so
Skinwalker Ranch.
when I did hear it, I did think maybe it's a skinwalker.
That makes sense.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
I don't know. I've heard of hellhounds before, but like not in like a haunted location like this. I've never heard of like. I mean, we've researched a lot
A
of
haunted
haunted places.
location again. Who's to say that it didn't get urban legend because it's abandoned.
That's true.
So you see an abandoned place, automatically fornication and ghosts.
The two things you think of.
Sounds like Camp Crystal Lake.
There you go.
Death. Killing, stabby McStab faces there.
If you have sex and do drugs, you're gonna die.
Automatically.
Because when I think hellhound, I think of like chupacabra. I think of Mothman. I think of these things that.
I think of
More on
Cerberus
the-
from Greek mythology, the three-headed dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking.
I do think of that
wolf.
too. So that's what I think. So when I hear this, I think it's possible. I think it's possibly a skinwalker. That's just who knows what they're doing actually. But
Well, most Native American spirits that I've come across are protecting their land,
there you go.
like the Skinwalker family tree.
So hey, here's my warning. I'm showing myself to you. Oh, you're still sticking around? Okay, well.
Now you're getting
repercussions.
hogtied.
Now you're getting hogtied.
And then you hear a howl. Oh, I told you.
But something bad happened to the security guards too. They all got put in prison.
They probably saw the big bad white wolf.
Wolf, the big bad wolf.
So that's what I think it is.
Skinwalker, I think, would be feasible.
I think it makes the most sense. Yeah, especially in that area. And I'm gonna look what tribes up there, but.
I mean,
else
it
happened?
is said that a skinwalker wears the pelt of the animal they transform into, and a lot of the. I mean, it's an animal that's native here to Utah, like, and it's a kind of a fearsome animal. Like, I've seen them at the Holga Zoo. I don't want to go near them.
Yeah. They're pretty damn big.
They're huge, and it would make sense. Like it's a terrifying kind of animal, especially like. Some of the stories I've heard about, like the wolves at Skinwalker Ranch, they're like the size of a person. They're like 6 feet tall. They're huge.
On all fours.
Yeah, on all fours.
They could sniff the top of your head standing up.
It looks like in the Cache County area, Shoshone was a big tribe.
Were they known for skinwalkers?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. That's another good question.
I bet you every tribe
Well-
has some kind of a skinwalker story.
You know, I
because
wish-
even Navajo has
This is true.
skinwalkers.
Yeah, this is true.
Because and they don't like talking about them just like everyone else. Because the skinwalkers up at Skinwalker Ranch, that was all based off the Ute tribes. But yeah, the Navajos also believe in that. So, Shoshone's probably in on this whole thing too.
It would make sense.
Yeah, nothing. A lot of Navajo comes through on it, but
It would stand to reason. Like it's not specific to one tribe or
Yeah.
culture.
Same with Bigfoot. They all know.
That's for another episode.
That's for a whole other
Oh
episode.
boy. Or what else?
Bigfoot versus Wendigo.
Who would win?
It's a movie. I can't
It's a
remember.
movie?
There's a movie that came out. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Sci-Fi Channel.
It's something like that. It's a stupid
sure it's
like
on Sci-Fi.
B-rated
Who won?
movie.
Who won?
I haven't seen it yet. If I find it, I'll let you know.
I
bet
bet
you-
it's sci-fi.
But yeah,
Squatch
it was,
wins.
It was like Bigfoot versus Wendigo or some shit like that.
Because no one wants the Wendigo to win. They go,
No.
who? What? The what?
Yeah.
The Wendigo's more fearsome though.
But if you think about it, the Bigfoot monster truck is always going to win.
Gravedigger. So yeah.
Anything else on the?
Would you guys buy it? Would you guys buy it?
Hold on, real quick. I think the Nunnery is a movie that might come out, and then talk about this hostage situation.
Oh,
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so that's something I was kind of reading when I was looking into the story. There's a movie, it's in the works. I don't know if it's how far along.
so for the price of the Nunnery,
750.
Yeah, would you buy it?
750K. So give me a scenario. Do I have am I sitting on 6 million, or what am I doing here?
no, just would it be something you'd be interested in buying?
If I live nearby, maybe. Because like I said, it looks nice. Like if you put some money into
Because when you
that,
think about the price of that, how big that is, and what it all comes with, or
You're getting a
you
lot
could buy
of
a
land.
house. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just one house with like no acreage at all, just a house sitting on 0.1 of an acre, or the Nunnery.
But the thing is the land itself is owned by the Forest Service. You'd just be owning the buildings.
yeah, you'll never own it.
So when you're buying that 750 grand, you're only buying the buildings.
It's like HOA.
I think
You'll never
so.
really own your house because the HOA still owns the property.
So what?
Because
so,
it is,
I mean,
and like I mentioned earlier, it is on the National Historic
which
Registry
means you
thing, so
cannot tear
can't
these
it down.
buildings.
Yeah,
But can you add more?
probably, maybe. I think if you had the permits to do it,
yeah, it sounds
because
like more of a
it
hassle.
is owned by the Forest Service. I believe the land is.
The answer
so
is no. Sounds like more of a hassle.
I think you might be able to. I mean, let's put it this way: the dude that owns it now, that's trying to sell it, obviously had some sort of money and planned on renovating and reopening it. But it just got too much of a hassle. So, I think unless
Sounds
you're
like
one
the
of
last
these,
few owners
Yeah.
are running into this problem.
I think unless you had like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs kind of money, like I don't know that it would be feasible.
Here's the
No,
plan.
nowadays we call it Bezos.
Or was
money
it?
now.
Or I guess it's Elon Musk is the new one.
Oh yeah, he's got Bezos beat.
Interesting.
Well, what if you were to just buy it? You don't have to do any renovations to it, and here comes Halloween time. You do a scary haunted forest over there.
Ooh.
Everything's already boarded up. You don't have to like renovate anything. It's already spooky as
Get
shit.
a couple
looking.
guys with chainsaws and
hog tying people up. Pay a little extra for that.
the experience.
You want the full St. Andrew treat?
Sign a waiver.
Put on these zip ties.
Bring some canned goods to get $2 off.
Oh gosh. Off of your $40 ticket price.
Yeah, no, $48 ticket.
Oh,
price.
48.
Yeah.
My bad.
But anyways, you would, yeah. I mean, I
I-
could see your money coming back tenfold.
And Dale's a psychic medium. Go see me.
Psychic.
Ghostface.
He already told you. It's a good investment.
Yeah, let's do it.
The EVP podcast does not condone the endorsement of investment properties.
If I had that kind of money where I could buy supposed haunted locations, I would. Because that's what I enjoy doing. Like, I mean, we investigate is what we do.
Yep.
And if I could have a place where I could
Fornicate.
fornicate. I've got your love sex over here. We can fornicate.
Is that what you've
Here's
been calling them?
Here's what?
My love sex. I'm glad my parents don't listen to this.
Because you don't fornicate.
No. Yeah, no, I totally was like, kind of like what Family Tree did, where they were renting it out for ghost hunts. Like, I would want to be able to help people learn more about the paranormal and give them an environment where it's safe to do so.
Yeah. I've got to say, like,
I know this is kind of out of the way, the place to go to, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, if I live closer to it, I was saying, kind of spin on what you're saying. I will, even though we like to make fun of Zach Baggins sometimes, I think what he's done with this museum he has in Vegas is genius on his part. Just by all these,
And I think
Possibly-
that just came up out of collecting for fun.
yeah, and donations. Because it sounds like he was
Oh,
already was
yeah.
getting things just donated to him. Maybe he went to investigate place. Here, just take this, And he's like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Oh, make a museum.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's cool at the same time, it can be potentially hazardous.
Yeah, if you're around it all the time, yeah, not a good idea.
Because I mean, you look at like the Warrens museum that they had of their artifacts, their haunted
yeah.
artifacts, and then John Zaffis, who's the nephew of the Warrens, he's got a barn where he lives. It's on his property, but not in the house. Like he
Yeah,
had a
he
whole
keeps it
separate
out.
barn, and they, I mean, both John Zaffis and the Warrens, when they were still alive, I'm not sure who owns it now, but they had like a priest come out once a month or once a week and bless it. I don't know that Zach is taking the same precautions.
No, he's making money.
Oh, there's shit in that basement. When I was at at that museum, oh, there's shit walking around in that basement.
I mean, he's
Oh,
got
definitely.
if you've seen the 2012 movie The Possession, where
Oh.
the guy buys his daughter this box from a yard sale, and it's
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Dybbuk box.
Yeah, he's got that.
He's got that one from
That
the movie.
definitely had a lot of energy coming
I've
from
seen a different Dybbuk box that someone actually was inspired to make because of that movie, and they actually hit up our friend Jimmy, and they're like, "Can you take this? I don't want it." Like, this dude actually followed, like, in order to make a Dybbuk box, there's like this whole Jewish ritual that you have to go through,
Yeah.
because the Dybbuk is a Jewish demon. This individual actually made one, sealed it with a red wax and everything.
This is the EVP Podcast.